right, good afternoon, everyone. We have Glenn Fromer here today, very special guest. He's stopping by at the Metabolic Health Summit today. So Glenn's actually riding about 5,300 miles across the country. So he starts in Northern California through the Rockies, Kansas City, Chicago, and all the way to DC. And so basically he's on part of for Ride For PKD, so Polycystic Kidney Disease, raising awareness and significant donations for Polycystic Kidney Disease Research. So extremely excited to have you stop by here, Glenn, on your ride across the country. So maybe you can just dive in a little bit deeper to kind of, your mission in general and how that kind of relates to PKD.
Sure, absolutely. Thanks, Alexa. Thanks for having me. Oh, that's great. And it's really good to be here. It's great to be with the team from Santa Barbara Nutrients. And I am a user of Keto Citra. I've tolerated very, very well. I find that it actually gives me terrific energy, great hydration, and I love using the product. So I'm a big fan. So a little bit about my background. I live in Vail, Colorado. I was diagnosed with PKD in 2013. For many years, I kept the diagnosis to myself. I felt that as the patriarch of my family, I didn't want anyone to know that I had an incurable, largely untreatable disease, and thought that I would just kind of bury that information and wallow in the misery of being diagnosed with something that's life-altering. But I became involved in the Polycystic Kidney Disease Foundation in 2018. They were a great source of information and taught me a lot about how we in the PKD community should be helping ourselves and one another out. So that included becoming much more involved in our community, getting involved in clinical trials, educating ourselves as to what we as PKD patients can do to manage our health. This is not the death sentence that it was 20 or 30 years ago. There are products on the market, including Keto Citra, that are being developed and trialed and being proven to help slow the growth of cysts on our kidneys. And that's really what we're looking for right now, is more time to allow research programs to come up with the right treatments and hopefully ultimately the cure for PKD. That's what gave birth to the Ride For PKD. I got involved in the Polycystic Kidney Disease Foundation's research grant program, a terrific program that reviews about 60 grant proposals every year. These are grant proposals that come from some of the finest universities around the world, including University of California, Santa Barbara, Columbia, the Mayo Clinic, and the list goes on, all looking for seed funding for PKD research. The unfortunate reality is that of the 60 grant proposals that come in each year, only 10% of those grant proposals actually get funded. The thought process there was, if the treatment or cure actually exists in the other 90%, right, we're doing ourselves a disservice. We need more money. And so from that very simple observation, the Ride For PKD was born. I'm an avid cyclist. My background is in venture capital, in startup businesses. Starting up a charity is very much like starting up a business. And I wanted to get leverage on investing in the ride and having others contribute time and money to the cause. And so the Ride For PKD was born, 5,300-mile ride across the U.S. As you said, Alexa, it's quite the physical challenge. We're about 400 miles into the journey. So we've got 7 days down, 113 days to go. A little closer to the finish line, but just a little. It's a ride that's really not only about raising money from very generous donors and sponsors like Santa Barbara Nutrients, but also to raise awareness of our disease and to build the community within the PKD population and encourage people who've got PKD to get involved, try out new products like Keto Citra, get involved in clinical trials, learn more about their disease. And so really the three prongs: raise money, build community, raise awareness of our disease. And that's what we're going to be doing we started out May 1st in San Francisco. We get to Cape Cod, Massachusetts on September 1st. And for the 4 months, we've got a traveling roadshow to promote our message, to raise awareness, and to raise funds for PKD.
Excellently said. That's great. I think what you're doing is very admirable. I think how you talked about it's not only just for the money, right? You're kind of here to raise awareness and create a community. And I think that's much needed for individuals specifically with polycystic kidney disease, like you first mentioned, right? You didn't feel comfortable kind of acknowledging the fact that that was there or put out. And a lot of people don't know about it. And so I think creating and establishing a community where you can talk to people, establish rapport with them is all in a sense of like mentally helping come together collectively, right? And kind of talking about that, having that support, which is extremely important for these things that most people don't know about. So we're extremely happy to have you here, Glenn. And, you touched on, you have a long trek ahead of you. And so it's been great timing to kind of have you stop by here. One question just kind of off is just what are you most excited for during this trip? And, there's probably a lot of different things on there, but what's one of the most, maybe places to stop by that you're looking forward to?
Yeah. We have a community of 600,000 Americans who have PKD. As you said, Alexa, a significant portion of those 600,000 either don't know they have the disease, they don't know what the symptoms might be, they don't have a great nephrologist who can help identify the disease, or they may know it was in their family and they just prefer to ignore it and cross their fingers and hope for the best. So the most exciting part of the journey is really meeting with two communities in particular. One are the researchers who are doing all the very important work on behalf of our community. Without that research taking place, our community has no hope. And hope is what we're all looking after. To see the incredibly smart people at universities around the country who are doing not just the testing of potential treatments and cures, but also going all the way back to the mechanisms of the genetics behind PKD and the mechanisms for the cyst growth and trying to figure out ways to attack that. It's really exciting stuff. And of course, we're raising money for the research program of the PKD Foundation. We want to show our donors where their money's ending up. So very excited to be meeting with the university researchers and to talk to them about their programs, to tour through their labs, to get a real great sense of what they're doing. The second community is the community of PKD sufferers, to let them know that there are people out there who are working on behalf of the entire community to raise funds, to raise awareness, to give hope. And even if you're in the community, you may not know much about the disease.
Right.
I'm here to provide whatever information I can. You may not know how to get involved. The PKD Foundation has a registry. As an example, there are 600,000 Americans with PKD. There are only 2,400 PKD sufferers who provided their information to the registry.
Wow.
So there's 99+% of our community that's not involved yet in providing their information and how they're feeling and what they're doing to help address PKD. We want them to get involved. Getting involved in clinical trials. If people aren't willing to get involved in clinical trials, if we're not willing to take a supplement like Ketocitra and provide feedback, our community is going to be stuck in neutral. So it's a way to help people understand better ways to get involved, and that's what I'm really excited about.
Yeah, wow. I mean, your mission's incredible, and we really, really appreciate your effort to kind of go out and establish, Ride for PKD and be such, an advocate for this. And I think that's extremely important to have. So we really, really thank you for that. And, you stopped by the Metabolic Health Summit today. And so kind of wanted to maybe tie that into kidney health or your experience with maybe metabolic health and how that relates to some dietary interventions that you might be doing.
Yeah. So I'd just like to start by saying I don't have all the answers. I take advice from really smart people. I do research on my own to try to understand what works. First and foremost is Ketocitra. I find it, as I said earlier, to be a terrific product, something I tolerate really well. I think I told you this on one of our early conversations. I can actually feel the product working.
Yeah.
My kidneys are responding to it. I can feel it, which I think is terrific. So supplements like Ketocitra for sure. I became a vegetarian 3 years ago. Mostly because of the overall health benefits of staying away from animal-based proteins and going to a plant-based protein diet. I take supplements that have maybe not in clinical trials been completely proven to be effective, but in animal models, particularly rodent models, things like metformin, which is obviously tied to metabolic health, as seen as being both a longevity drug and something good for PKD patients. So happy to share that I take the metformin, again, I tolerate it well, and I think it's doing good things for me. My premise, and this is just a personal view of what I'm willing to do to help lengthen my kidney health, is one, does the product do no harm? And all the products I just mentioned do no harm for me. Two, does it give me some probability, some chance, even a slim chance, that it'll retard the growth of cysts? And three, does it not cost an arm and a leg? Is it not going to bankrupt me to just do the treatment? And so the things I mentioned here are things that really help. Then, of course, there are the obvious ones. Staying active in one's lifestyle. Riding your bike across America, 5,300 mile, is a nice way to stay active. It's a way to keep weight down, keep your heart pumping, keep your organs functioning, and do good things for overall health. If and when my kidneys do fail, I want the rest of my systems to be in tip-top shape. And the last part, in addition to staying physically active, is to stay hydrated. The best advice out there is to drink lots of fluids, to continue to flush your kidneys on a regular basis. It's seen as very effective. And so carrying around those big bottles of water and making sure we're getting them down each day is great advice for all of us with PKD, or all of us who are interested in kidney health to promote.
Yeah. Well done. I really like how you're kind of implementing a lot of different dietary and lifestyle changes. And I think it's almost kind of a holistic approach about kind of targeting various parts by doing different things. I guess, one of my last questions, Glenn, is what would you do? I know you said there's about 2,300 that have signed up on the registry and about 600,000 that are affected by it. What would you want to say to individuals to help encourage them to kind of, put information out there, and of course to help aid in this research for polycystic kidney disease?
I only learn from my own experience, and I would say to you that my original burying of the information, I didn't tell anyone other than my wife. My children, the rest of my family, friends, did not know I had PKD for a 5-year period, and that's a mistake. Because when I finally told friends and family about the disease, everyone rallied around me as a friend and this disease as a cause and wanted to get involved, to give me hope, to give all of us hope. I had friends, when I told them I had PKD, they were like, can you take my kidney? I'll give you my kidney. Just incredible gestures of kindness and support that I never would have imagined. It really is heartwarming that people came out. So I say to people who have PKD and have buried it as information to not do that. Share it with your family, share it with your network of friends, get people to support you. Now, we have the Ride for PKD. We've got this traveling a bike ride across the country. We've got another 113 days on the road. And I'd say to our community, come support us. There are a couple of things that you can do in our community. We're video blogging every day from the road. Sharing those video blog on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, through email to get your friends and family involved to follow the ride would be great. Follow us on RideForPKD.org. Lots of information out there, interactive route maps, how to get involved as a volunteer, if you want to donate, how you can donate to the cause. Get involved with the PKD Foundation. The registry is a great idea to provide information, but also find out how you can participate in clinical trials. As I said earlier, if we in the PKD community are not involved, the disease will never get eradicated. We must get involved, try out new treatments and potentially promising cures and or treatments, and provide feedback to clinicians so that they can work on our behalf. And support the foundation. The foundation is really the centerpiece of all of this. 100% of the proceeds from the Ride for PKD is going straight to the PKD Foundation's research program, and we want people to give generously knowing that their dollars are helping the research cause.
Yeah, I think that's wonderful. You know, like Glenn kind of alluded to too, is a diagnosis of polycystic kidney disease doesn't really need to be isolating, right? You need that support, and whether you want to kind of slowly put that information out just within your family, right? Having the support that establishes a larger community, right, and establishing that community full of people, family members who might not have PKD, but at least they have the awareness and they know what it is. And I think that's really what your mission here is about today. And we're extremely grateful to have you here, and very blessed that you're doing what you're doing. And so thank you very, very much from PKD community and those who might not have told anybody yet. I think Glenn is a very good role model to kind of start digging into that and finding where you're comfortable. So happy to have you here, Glenn, and best of luck on the rest of your trip. I know you have a long trek ahead, but we're very, very blessed to have you stop by today.
Great. Thanks, Alexa, and I hope to see a lot of you in the PKD community further on up the road. Check out the website. You'll know where we're going on our interactive map, and hope to see a lot of people out there.
Thank you, Glenn.